All right, so my mom started this book when I was in the hospital. And I didn't notice until today, 32 years later, my mom wrote Golden State Rehabilitation Hospital. Rehab, but not drug rehab, but physical rehab. It says February 7th, 92 to, and there's no end date because at the time no one knew when I was getting out. And I only noticed that today. I don't like people who take advantage of handicap parking. And I don't actually call it handicap parking, I call it blue parking or priority parking. I started dating a guy when I was 16, met him at work. We dated for about 1.5 years. Spent a lot of time together. You know, it's the first love kind of thing where you don't really spend as much time with your friends as you used to. You know, it's your pretty normal teenage romance, if you will, when you're a senior, because you're so busy with homecoming and, you know, winter formal and prom. I mean, the last thing I wanted was to be tied down by a boyfriend, so I broke up with him. He had really strange family issues that I now know impacted him a lot. His dad was an alcoholic. His mother was never home. Let's say we broke up on a Monday. By Friday, he had kind of become unglued. He called constantly. He called my friends. He waited for me after work. He waited for me after school. And it started off as just like some phone calls and showing up here and there. And then it got progressively more aggressive. I remember my mom telling me to be careful. And I said, oh, Mom, he would never hurt me. From the time I broke up with him up until the night that I got shot. He stopped going to college. He stopped going to work. Just all in a week's time. I went skating that night. He showed up at the rink. He knew my patterns. I said, you know, go home. I'll call you later, which I had no intention of doing. He left. And he came back about an hour later. The last thing I remember is walking out the door of the rink and looking at the ground as I walked out the door, and I was just annoyed. The first thing I remember is throwing up. I remember the pain. It was head pain. I lost over half my blood volume. Again, it's pretty common with head injuries that you end up with a seizure disorder afterwards, but it's all controlled by medication. I got shot in the head with a Beretta 9mm hollow point bullet. Hollow point bullets are designed to blow up on impact. When it hit the side of my head, it blew the side of my skull out. The doctors say if it hadn't been a hollow point bullet, it would have gone in one end and out the other, and that would have killed me. But I have something called a left hemiparesis. I got shot in the right side of the head, so the left side of my body is the side that is paralyzed. I mean, I have some gross motor movement in my shoulder, but I have no fine in my left hand. LAX, Rockefeller Plaza, Sacramento. I don't know why we always have a Philadelphia shot, but there's the Bay Area. Nice day in the Bay Area. I just managed, there's a lot of moving parts all the time. I've got a morning crew, I've got on a SWAT situation, I've got to figure out what to do with my dayside crew. When I learned how to pull air checks as an intern, I pulled the air check from that night because I wanted to see. I didn't want to get upset. I wanted to see if I would remember anything, and I don't. I mean, it's been 32 years. But there was video of the scene and blood all over the ground. And there was video of the paramedics working on him. Because after I got shot, he shot himself. And he was probably dead when he hit the ground, but you could see through the back of the ambulance they were doing CPR on him. And we ended up being taken to the same hospital. When they got there, he was dead. I was not. They had shaved my head. I have this huge scar from here all the way down the back of my head. I looked awful. The first time I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, I just cried. And I remember a nurse telling me I was just gonna have to get used to this. And I was like, fuck that. Nope. I was not gonna let anyone tell me I couldn't do something. So my mom had a lot of people who came to visit me sign little messages in this scrapbook. And I couldn't save everything. There was so much from so many people. Some people I didn't even know. There's a lot of newspaper articles. One of my sisters saved all of them. So the local media kept tabs on me for a couple of years. They came to the hospital when I was there. They came to my house when I was out of the hospital. I did a story with the Arizona Republic, and they did a nice little write-up. I've won several Emmys, and this Friday, Emmy nominations come out again for the Pacific. I think I'm in the Pacific Southwestern chapter of the National Academy of Radio, Television, Arts and Sciences. It's a long name. My Emmys are up there. So I'll do the chicken first, and then we'll do the broccoli.
Do you want this?
Go ahead and.
She's an amazingly resilient person who is very strong and lives her life to the fullest. You know, she has balance issues. So on occasion, she needs help with something, or she doesn't use her both hands to open something. It's very limited as to what she can't, restrictions that she has.
I wasn't gonna let that whole situation define me or hold me back from doing or getting anything I wanted out of life at all. Or, be one of those people who feel sorry for themselves. You've gotta figure out what you want out of life and make it that way, because no one's gonna hand it to you.